given the simplicity of this duration computation from to, right, start and, I would say that, if my business rules are, requiring that both start hour and end hour are entered, it's one thing, but the important thing is that when I do my computation, I would like to make sure that I don't produce anything strange by this simple computation. So that would help to say assert, right? Assert right here, and assert that the end hour is greater than the start hour, or greater equal perhaps than the start hour, so that we produce only zero or positive values, right? And if that fails, it fails. So recall from CIS 257, we can go to our project properties right here, and in the run section for the Java virtual machine options, we can say minus enable asserts, right? So we can specify this option right here, and this way, as I'm developing my application, I will be checking different kind of conditions with my assert statements, and I would like my application to fail immediately if this condition is not true, right? My end hour is supposed to be greater or equal the start hour, so that way I can have empty time slots, but nothing weird like, from 5 p.m. to 7 a.m. That's not like, I'd like to, perhaps this may make sense if it crosses the the 24-hour boundary, but I'll keep it simple right now, and just this is yet another place for me to explore the assert statement and see if this assumption holds as I'm trying to develop this. So back to the time slot idea. Right, so obviously I need a constructor that would have to require, right? So if I say constructors, right, so the constructors will require apparently public constructor, right, which will take those two ints, right, the start hour, the end hour, then let's see, we're going to also say that we probably need a private employee ID. Employee ID over here, so that obviously as we populate the time slot, we create employee ID. However, this, which is also an int, right? However, this employee ID may be, again, in the design, that's where the design becomes really important. Some time slots, perhaps, could be given to entire crew, okay? So sometimes you can have not just a single employee, but the entire crew or team. Okay, so that is another possibility. So instead of creating multiple time slots for, for like say 5 people, instead you could have like an idea of a crew, right? So there could be some kind of a crew class that represents a collection of employees, right? So this crew could have a collection of employees and say, between 1 and 5, something like that. So that type of set of ideas is really interesting, but we're not going to explore it here, right? So I'm just going to undo this to remove it from my diagram. But just remember that there could be other possibilities that you have to be able to account for, and you can imagine, as I'm making my decision right now to take this employee ID and name this variable employee ID, it can actually be crew ID, maybe, if my business rules allow something like that to happen. That's where functional specification needs to tell you everything, because it's really important to know something like that, because it significantly impacts the view of the work schedule, right? If you allow time slots for the entire crew. But anyway, just a note, right now I'm going to ignore this idea and simply proceed with my with this demo. But just something interesting that we just mentioned. All right, so this start hour, right, equals the start hour, then this end hour. You're probably seeing me doing this multiple times already, so this becomes really sort of like a routine type of programming, because it's just basically providing the plumbing, right? You have some data attributes. It's routine idea to get a constructor that gets that set of attributes, right? Somebody has to give you that set of attributes, and you simply populate your set of attributes right there. All right, so moving on. Okay, so I guess for now this will be okay to have. Of course, the time slot most likely is going to specify the date time, right? I mean the actual calendar date, but I'm going to ignore that, pretending that we're just operating this 24-hour span, and every time at midnight we reset everything and re-enter everything, or perhaps load it from the database. All right, so this is the time slot. Okay, and then in terms of operations, we said that we want to say compute pay, right? So compute pay heavily depends on the type of the employee, actually not on the type of employee, is really the time of the time slot, right? So therefore, the duration is straightforward. However, the next operation, which is the next operation will be public compute, and we said it will return a double, right? Compute pay, something like that, right? So that we can do. However, and this will take probably a double pay rate of some sort that we need to provide to this method so that we can do the computation. And realistically, it also needs perhaps an employee ID. Of course, I can pass a reference to the employee class, but I'm not even planning to add employee to this application just yet, because I don't want to create too many classes in this demo. It's enough to focus on specific types of time slots here. So compute pay, okay? So compute pay will basically take employee ID so that we can search for specific type of employees, and pay rate will allow us to do the computation. However, what we want to do is that we want to make this abstract. We really don't want to provide any specific implementation to this method, because this method implementation should come from these classes, workday, week, and so forth, because they will be perhaps, on the weekend, I can give, 1.5, 1.5, increase to compute the pay. On a holiday, I can do it 2 times. Sick day will be just a regular, average, whatever, and the work day will be also just a pretty straightforward type of thing, right? So, but nevertheless, compute pay is likely needs to be abstract, right? So at this point, we say we would like to produce access to computing the pay. However, the method will be implemented by specific type of time slots. Therefore, we are going to require, if we do have abstract, Java says that you need to make your class also abstract. All right. So very well then, this is basic functionality of the time slot at the top of the hierarchy, right? So we'll proceed now to specific types like workday or weekend, right? So we can go to our, where's my projects, right here. You say new class, I suppose, right? And we're gonna add weekday, right? Weekday or workday. Weekday sounds a little better to me, I think. That's one. Nice. I think I misspelled my package right there, so I'll fix that later on. I'm going to do that, weekday, and clearly I know that I need this type of constructor, that's for sure, right? Constructor with these types of parameters, because we're going to say this thing extends the time slot, right? And in terms of constructors, we need a weekday constructor, which takes these parameters, right, and basically asks the time slot, which is the superclass, to use these parameters simply and say, do your thing, populate your values right here. Okay. All right then. So that's fine. And of course, we do need to provide concrete implementation for compute pay. Okay. So compute pay. In fact, you know, I think that because this is specific time slot, I don't think I actually need this employee ID. I need employee ID to do the search when I iterate through my list, but I don't think I need it here. So sorry about that. Let me get rid of employee ID right here. Just compute pay for the specific rate, and that's all I need, right? So that's even simpler because we have to deal with less parameters. Okay, so this time, of course, it becomes concrete, which means we will remove the abstract qualifier here, compute pay, and specify the actual computation, which will be for us basically say duration, right? Duration, and this should probably say hourly rate instead of pay rate. That's another thing that is probably something we would like to change. So I'll just say, how about this, right? Return duration times this hourly rate that we were given, right? Duration times hourly rate. Now, weekday could also provide essentially a specific, and I think maybe somewhere here, we may try using just an example, day of week, something like this, day of week, okay, and the day of week maybe day of week. We could use an enumeration for this, right? Day of week could be specified as enumeration, Java enumeration, day of week, and we can use our enumeration such as we say Sunday, right? Sunday, and then Monday. Let me just do abbreviated version of that. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, something like that, right? So, so the enumeration simply will list these parameters and will assign ordinal numbers to them. By default, the first ordinal number is 0. Okay, so that would be yeah. I'll just use the default here, just 0. Okay, and yeah, and so again, that would be then needed to populate additional, either use additional value over here, or if I make this protected, right? If I make this protected, I can have the deriving objects specifying it. So for the sake of demonstration, right, I can say on a weekday, I will just say that my day of week should equal, say, what was the name of that enumeration? Day of week, right? Day of week, Monday, right? So just this for the sake of demonstration, because this I can use the actual day on the calendar and use, say, Gregorian calendar, for instance, object to compute the actual day of the week when I do this, when it's entered or something, right? So this can be computed, but just for the sake of demonstration, I'd like to say day of week over here, and this will be computed. But right now, for the sake of demonstration, this is hard-coded to Monday, right? So I added this type of enumeration, which is basically only a set of constants, and this will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth, right? So Saturday will have ordinal number of 6. Okay, so that is something else that we need to be able to identify in this work schedule in terms of time slots, I think. All right, so let's stop this for now and move to the next room, and we will continue on. So just make some progress, hopefully, through some basic implementation here.